Hello and welcome to Multifamily Investing with Bob Biggins. I'm Bob Biggins. Today we are going to install a steel entry door. We're going to replace an old, put a new in. The first thing to do is always make sure you've got the right size. They come in 32 and 36 standard, but you can buy special 34 and 30. Sometimes you can find them in a big box store, but not too often. Just 32 and 36 are the most common. This one here is a 36. It's got a cutout for a deadbolt as well as a knob. What we do before we even install is we'll take and paint the inside of this. It actually comes like this door here with what's called brick mold around it. This is white primed brick mold. We painted it white on this one. This one's gonna be under an eave. So we're gonna leave the wood brick mold on there. But often what I do is I'll take it off, like this one. We'll put PVC or plastic brick mold on there because it doesn't rot. But when we speak of rotting, this is wood in here, and we've already painted it 2 to 3 coats of exterior white paint and primed. But down here, you gotta make sure you caulk this real good. Usually with silicone clear, silicone white, then repaint. I paint up here probably 3 or 4 or 5 times because this area here wants to rot out. Especially if you have a piece of plastic brick mold here, that won't rot, but all your water is going to want to sit in here and rot this wood away over time. I mean, it'll take 5 to 10 years, but if you do your preparation up front, you can then just paint it every 5 to 10 and not worry about any rot. It'll just be needing some exterior paint. We got the threshold here. We'll quickly show you what the doors we are replacing. These are the little detents. You press them in on the other side for where you have to put screws in the door. They are back here for the window. They get popped in here once you're all said and done. This is actually a right-hand in-swing door. How that is done, when you're speccing out a door, you put your back to the hinges, and if you're going this way, you're going to the right, that's a right-hand in-swing. Conversely, this one, you put your back to the hinges, is a left-hand in-swing. And so that's the easiest way I've ever learned to remember how to do that. Put your back where the hinges are, whichever way your arm goes, the right or left-hand in-swing, they call that. I think that's enough for right now. Let's go up and we will see where we're going to install this door at, this 36-inch. Some people call them exterior doors. The technical name is an entry door. It's allowing water to come in down here, not a tight threshold. On the outside, you'll see it's pretty rusty. We're going to replace some wood here. It may have gotten some wood damage, or else replace just a section of that because water, it allowed water to come in long before I bought the place. It was in really bad shape. We did some work to it, but not enough to, it's just not worth keeping. We'll buy that door down there for about, I would say $250, $300, maybe $350. But if you can install it yourself, you're gonna have a $1,500 or $2,000 job that you're gonna be able to get done on your own for about $350, $400. So let's go outside. As you can see, people before me have tried to fix this door with steel screws going in there. It's been warped and it didn't want to close, so we had to plane that down quite a bit. This seal is just all garbaged up. And as you can see, down here is where it fails. See that? If you don't keep that painted down there, this is all part of the new door. This will all go away. You got to make sure these are level. It's got a good solid base to work from. We'll have concrete, so it should probably be okay. We'll have to shim it up to make sure it's level, plumb, and square. But oftentimes when you're dealing with an old wood building like we do here in the 1900 and 1910 and 20 properties, water has gotten in, it's rotted the wood away. So oftentimes you pull the door out and you gotta go dig down, and take all the rotted wood out. I've gone so far as I've gone right down to the sill plate, the blocks of the foundation, And we've gone so far as because there's so much volume in there, we poured a 3 or 4 inch section in there and poured it full of concrete, nice and level. And then put one piece of treated on top of it, and it's got a really solid, nice base to work from. So those are just some of the options. And the reason actually we're going to take that off is this is the brick mold of the old. This apparently was an old door from 1910. You can see the steel lintel up there. So the load of the bricks is coming down there, and it's actually coming right down to here. But years ago, probably in the 70s, I'd say, someone put this type of door in, and so we're gonna go back with the same type of door, but this and this is in good shape. So we're gonna cut the brick mold out, put the plastic brick mold or wooden brick mold back in, because this will be wood, this will be wood, this is wood, and this is wood. So there's no need to put a piece of a little plastic in the middle. We'll just, when we caulk it and seal it all up, we'll just paint the whole wood package and have to just keep it painted every now and again, as opposed to plastic brick mold, which is pretty well permanent. So let's get to it and get rid of this old beat up rusty door and threshold and get a brand new one in. Thanks very much. Taking out the brick mold. Demo is usually the hardest and biggest pain in the tail end. We're just cutting it out with a Sawzall and an oscillating tool so that we get the new one back in there. But demo moving along, slow but sure, big old spikes in there. All right, after many oscillating blades and many Sawzall blades and a lot of batteries, we got all this brick mold cut away. We're gonna leave the old brick mold in there. We're gonna rip it on the table saw. Every door is a little bit different. And this one, because it has this on here, we're just gonna leave this wood in. We had to cut through many nails. Come on over and take a look, which is also fun for blades. Here, and here, and this side maybe a little bit less so. We got bouncing the blade into the sheeting here, and as we'll just be able to take the door right on out, and the next one should fit right back in. We'll run you inside. We've now done the inside trim removal as well, casing rather. Got to put some insulation back in here, back around the sides, blow a little spray foam in there, and then we'll put the new door back in. The one we just saw earlier should slide right in, shim it to fit, shim good at the hinges, or at the hinges as well as at the handle and the locks. We won't put a deadbolt in there. We'll put a cover plate on that one because it's a common entry for a larger apartment, and we'll see what goes on next. So we pulled the old door out. Concrete down here wasn't too level, so we had to take our handy dandy grinder. I didn't want to show that on video because it's a huge mess. We ground this all out, made a big old dusty mess. Able to barely get the door in. There was really tight squeeze of a fit. Put some plastic shims in the bottom and brought this up. It's hitting on the top up here, so it's high as it's gonna go. It is within the bubble, pretty decent. You can show that right there. So we get the bottom leveled out, but it still has this going on. So we'll fill this back in with either plastic wood or potentially mortar, but probably white PVC wood in there so it's got rigidity. So every time you step on this inside and out, it's not gonna flex because that'll destroy the door over time. So we've got the door in, set, stabilized. Here's our shims, shims, shims. You always want to shim between your deadbolt and your handle because that gives it super rigidity there. We go a little overboard. We got a shim here. We actually have none down there, but this is concrete, so we didn't have to shim there. We shimmed down along the bottom. That should be totally fine. It's super rigid. The reveal, as you can see, you always want your reveal to be the same all along. And that way, the door closes really smooth. What we're gonna need to do inside here is what's called an extension jamb. See, the wall is so thick, it's an old building, 1910 walls. We actually drywalled these walls, and it went over plaster and lath. You can see the plaster and lath in there. And put drywall on. And once we put casing around this, it's going to need to be the same thickness as this right here. The casing will go around once we're all done. So we need to extend this jamb called an extension jamb, and it's going to be a tapered extension jamb because this is perfectly level, this door. This wall is not, the door is. And so, perfectly plumb, I should say. So we're going to have probably a 1.5 inch extension jamb here, taper it all the way down to probably about 1 1/4 down here. And that will extend this jamb, make it flush with this. We may have to put it in 2 pieces, like 3/4 and 3/4, or make 1 3/4 and then make 1 tapered. To get a nail gun in over 1 inch would be really, really tough. So we'll have to put probably 3/4 inch in there and then put a second extension jamb in there. And we'll take it down to here and we'll do the same over here. And then our old casing will cover this up. We'll put more insulation there and put our casing back on. So we've got the same old world look. Come on out for a minute. Out here. And your key is how smooth your door closes. I mean, we've done some doors, done some better, some worse, and this is just beautiful. It is beautiful. You want it to hit evenly along your weather stripping here, of which it does. We're gonna put the striker plate on and we'll just bring it nice and snug right there. That'll keep all the weather out. We did put the brick mold back up. Because of the imperfection of the wall, we had to trim it up a bit here, trim it up a bit there, but you want to keep this reveal the same here all the way around. And then once we caulk this all in, caulk everything in, paint it all white, it'll just blend in. You'll never know the difference. So now Anthony's just mixing up the mortar, not concrete, but mortar. And that's gonna go, make it the consistency of peanut butter. Let's go underneath that door, solidify that up. So Anthony just put a big old glob of mortar in there out of our mortar bucket here. And what he's doing is underneath the threshold, we had to shim it up so it could be good and level. So we want that metal threshold to be good and tight and strong. And so we could put shims under there. We could try to put plastic wood under there. But what we found to be the best is mortar. Packet full of mortar, and it generally will not crack, and it's really, really solid. It's really like concrete underneath the threshold of that door, so that way it won't move around. And if you want to make it a little more decorated, we'll cut out the plastic shims in there. Those are plastic shims. We'll cut those out when everything hardens up with an oscillating tool, and then after that run a big thick bead of mortar caulk in there. And that'll cover up where the black shims were and just make it all one cohesive strip of solid metal threshold for the future. So now mortar's working down, drying off. Anthony's putting a couple layers of caulk in here. Gonna caulk it all. We're gonna use water-based paintable caulk in this one. Sometimes we use silicone if it's up against a building or with vinyl J-channel. But this is all wooden right here. So he'll do painter's caulk, and then we're gonna let that harden up, paint this baby up, and show you the finished product inside and out. So we're all finished up here. Got everything all trimmed out with the casing, caulked, painted. All the mortar down here, cut the shims off. This is all secured now, super solid. We even got our mat in front here. So now we're gonna go inside, and we got things all trimmed out in here. We've got the casing put all up. We had to frame it all in, had to do extension jambs because the wall was covering, so we had a deep extension jamb we had to use. We actually had to cut hinges out here because the extension jambs were so deep where we were in the into the vertical. And then down here, water used to come pouring through here when it rained really hard. Now that's all sealed up from the outside, clean from the inside. It's been bone dry ever since. And so Thank you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this episode of Multifamily Investing with Bob Biggins. This is Bob Biggins signing out.